I did, in fact, go to a very expensive fundraising dinner as a guest of a relative of mine who's a large contributor to this, to a very mainstream conservative, I don't know, it's not really a lobby group, it's a nonprofit, I guess it's like a think tank. I guess that would be the best thing to call it. So I went to a fundraising dinner for them. There was some speakers and some students that were given scholarships by them, etc. But it was basically these were conservatives with money, like old money conservatives. And it was at a very old money private club with, everything was, granite and wood sculpture. It was really, wow. That building was amazing. And as we were going up the elevator to the floor where the dinner was held, the elevator stopped a few times, and members of the club got off at the library floor, and there was this amazing big room with books everywhere and Greek statues and these big leather chairs. It was so it was basically, it was like my wet dream of the surroundings I would like to be surrounded with all the time, right? So yeah. And one of the interesting things was we were sitting there having our dinner as the keynote speaker was speaking, and a friend of my relative who I was a guest of leans over to her. He was also at the table with us. He leans over to her and he says, it's interesting how not very diverse this event is. It was all white people. I mean, it was literally all white people. There was one black person there that I saw and a couple of Asians. And so he says that to her, right? And then later on at the cocktail hour, she mentions it to me. And she's like, that's one thing that always kills me is that why is it that every event I'm at is always like this? How can we reach out? How can we even, why do they not even listen? And then she gave this story, a funny story, how she went to the nail salon and she talked to the Korean or the Vietnamese woman there, and she's like, well, you're a business owner, you should vote Republican, etc. And she says that the woman says that she said that she would, but the woman was just trying to get her to stop politically proselytizing to her, you know what I mean? And then she said, it was actually funny, so then she said a Democrat woman that was in there started, challenging all this and talking about the Republicans being racist and all this crap, whatever. The point being, I said to her, look, don't even worry about diversity. You're not going, I tried to sort of red pill her a little bit, and at that event, and considering the constraints, it was only so far I could go. But, I would really love to be able to tell conservatives, and this was upper crust conservatives. So these people were out of touch with actually the rank and file of their own movement. They probably wouldn't get the actual outlook of a blue collar conservative in America. Because these are people they've read Russell Kirk, they read Edmund Burke, they're into William F. Buckley. I mean, that conservative movement is dead, and frankly, there was never very much to it. I mean, that's a very small. I mean, it's funny. What's the actual intellectual tradition there? I mean, I basically listed it out. Yeah, it's such a not inspiring tradition for me. I mean, I don't find that to be any. There's really nothing there. I mean, libertarians have a better intellectual tradition, far better than them. Reactionaries have a better one. Fucking liberals have a better one. I mean, liberals, you can go back all the way through this whole intellectual tradition of Marxism. I mean, these guys have a couple of kind of lame guys from the 50s. I mean, I don't know. It's just the whole thing that they have there is so uninspiring and bland. And it's sort of no wonder you're losing. And then the very fact that they're not even intellectually armed to understand that the whole concept of diversity is arrayed against them. You will not have diversity. I mean, the whole thing was a supposed celebration of Western civilization. So it was all white people, all very upper crusty intellectual. I mean, this is sort of the last dying gasps of the optimate caste in America is what these people represent, and they don't know it. They have no idea that they're dying. They know they're dying. They don't know why. And the fact that they're wondering about diversity is part of why. It's you should know, you should acknowledge you represent white people. And I said this, I actually said, not quite in those words, but I basically said, don't worry about diversity. Don't even think about it. If everybody at an event is white, that's fine. I didn't actually say that's good. because that might have been too far for the surroundings, but that's fine. Like, the GOP needs to understand they de facto are the party of white people.
They just need to recognize it.
They need to be the party.
They need to announce it.